I'm Chris from Chandler Industrial Supplies, and today we're going to do a cutoff wheel comparison test. Let's get cutting. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this video is not meant to beat up on Princess Auto or Chinese products. Yeah, it kind of is. But if you're in the industrial application world, if you're working in a plant somewhere, the last thing you want to be doing is buying these products. These products are typically designed for people that are weekend warriors doing some cuts on the weekend. They're not designed to be running nonstop for a couple of reasons. One of them, most importantly, being that when you buy these Anhua products or the other products from China, they're not certified products. And if they break apart while you're running at 13,000 RPM and it hits somebody in the face and they get injured, you're going to have WSIB or some other form of workman safety board crawling up your rear end and living there for quite a while. So it's not just about the fact that we can get you a better product that's going to last you longer and perform better, but it's also about safety. So with that being said, let's get started on the tests. Okay, as promised, you can see here we have the Pro Point. All of these test wheels are going to be 4.5 inches, and they're all going to be an 045 spec. This is the Pro Point wheel from Princess Auto. I picked this up this morning for $4.29. Next, we have the Anhua product, and if you've seen the previous video I did testing this against some Kling Sport cutoff wheels, you will know how poorly this performed. And this put up a lot of smoke and took forever to cut. It's not a good wheel. Regardless of the price, you're not saving. You get to Tierlet Sear Bond X, then we go to Cubitron 3 from 3M, and Cronin Flex Edge, Walter Zip Cut, Gemini from Norton. What we will be cutting is we will be cutting 3 different types of steel. We have the 1-inch flat steel, we have the 3/4 inch flat steel, and then we have the thinner 3/4 inch that I've doubled up. What we will be doing is 3 cuts of the 1-inch flat steel, 3 cuts of the 3/4 inch flat steel, and 2 cuts of this for each wheel. So we have the same amount of cuts. That's 8 cuts total. What I've done is I've used the micrometer and I've taken the before measurements of each one of these wheels. You can see that they are listed here, and what I'll be doing after the cuts is listing the after dimensions so we can do a comparison to see exactly how well they performed. What we'll be using is this cutting arm with a weight that's hanging off the handle, so it is the exact same amount of pressure for each cut we do, so that there's no conversation surrounding a bias cut test. We're gonna make sure all of these cuts are with the same amount of pressure. With that being said, I'm not gonna show all the cuts because this video would take way too long, but I'll show a couple of cuts as I'm moving along so you can see how I'm doing it, and then at the end, we'll look at the dimensions that remain. And a little bit of an update here on this Anhua wheel that I'm running right now. It wasn't able to cut through the steel because it wore down so quickly. Here, let me show you. So with this wheel, the way that this arm works is the housing of the grinder does eventually come to rest on the brace or the vise that holds it in place. And for each one of the cuts, as you can see, it wasn't able to cut through. I've done 2 on the last pieces of steel, but even on all the others, it wore down so quickly, it could not cut all the way through because the wheel wore down so fast. So just to give you an accurate picture, when we take the measurements at the end, it's not gonna be a full cut test on this wheel because it broke down so quickly that it couldn't perform its function. You can see how much steel there is still left to cut inside there. It's not even gone all the way through the second piece. It's broken down so fast. Again, you pay less money for these products, but you get a highly inferior product. Let's move on to the Sear Bond X. All right, the tests are done, the results are in. Let's take a look at the results of these tests. I found it to be pretty interesting myself, and I think you will too. All right, here's what the wheels look like afterwards. Again, we did 8 cuts each. We did 3 cuts on the 1-inch flat steel, 3 cuts on the 3/4 inch flat steel. You see the thicknesses there. And then we finished with 2 cuts on the 3/4 inch thin flat steel that we doubled up with the vice grips. This is what the final results were. This is what the wheels look like, as you can see there. And most notably, as you can see, the Chinese product, the Anhua product in comparison, did pretty abysmally. Let's take a look at the numbers. I did the equations here. I took the micrometer and I measured the wheels afterwards and before to see what the before and after results are. So as you can see, the Pro Point lost 4.427% of the wheel after the 8 cuts. The Anhua product, which I have to say, did not even finish completing the test. It couldn't cut all the way through because the wheel got too small and it failed pretty much right out of the chute. And it still lost 12.715%. Pretty abysmal results. The Syrup Bond X from Tierlet, it lost 2.209%, which is really good. The Cubitron 3 only lost 1.27% of the wheel. That's pretty incredible. The Edge from Klingspor lost 4.22%. The Zip Cut lost 3.051%. And the Gemini from Norton lost 4.282%. Now, it's important that I do say it is October of 2024 and prices do go up over time. So if you're watching this down the road, the prices may have gone up. That's just the way it goes with inflation. But what I will tell you this is this Pro Point, I bought this morning for $4.30 Canadian, okay? And if you look, it lost 4.427% at $4.30. The Cubitron 3, if you buy today from Chandler Industrial Supplies, it's only 30 cents more and it lost 1.27%. How much of a savings are you getting when you buy a wheel like that at only 30 cents more? Now, you could get something like the Klingspor Edge from Chandler Industrial Supplies today that still performs better than the Princess Auto that was $4.30 Canadian. And the Klingspor Edge, we can do more than $1 cheaper per wheel, and there's always promotions going on. All of these wheels are competitively priced with Chandler Industrial Supplies. All of these wheels perform better than the Pro Point from Princess Auto and absolutely obliterated the Anhua product from China. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a big difference between saving on price versus saving on cost. You're paying your people to work in the back. Do you want them sitting on a grinding wheel or a cutoff wheel forever because it's not performing well, and then that wheel is wasted and gone in no time because you saved a few pennies at the front end when you purchased it? Or do you want to buy quality products that are going to increase production speed, that are going to save you on cost in the end? At Chandler Industrial Supplies, we don't just want to take an order from you. We want to make sure we're getting you the best fitment for the processes that you're doing. We want to bring value to your company. Chandler Industrial Supplies, we have the supplies. We bring the solutions. We are the experts. Give us a call. Let's do business.